Bryce Young, by the way, kind of reminds me of two individuals. Who do you think that Bryce Young reminds me of?
Well, his pro day comparison with Drew Brees, and
give me Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, what about Warren Moon?
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Should you have ever
should have sold
those?
I don't know. Should have sold them. Should have sold them.
Good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is by you. For the last time this academic school year, welcome back to the Underqualified Knuckleheads Sports Podcast, Ball State Sports' premier sports podcast.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Keene. Joined alongside me is Andrew Newman in his decked-out Colts gear. I got Michigan gear on today.
That you do.
Go Wolverines.
Good afternoon, Daniel. Obviously, this isn't our normal time slot. It's finals week. It's the week to end all weeks, the time to end all times, the days to end all days. Actually, no, I don't think that's...
That was good.
You
were going on a little moment there.
I don't know. It's over. The season's over. The season's over, like that Philadelphia Eagles guy. Well, the season's over.
We're done.
Yeah, I didn't hear no bell. I heard a bell. The bell is rung.
We are
It's over.
We are flying into the off season per se.
I'm feeling good about it. It's been a great year so far. I think we've had a lot of good people on the podcast, and I think I've been enjoying myself doing this. It's been a little bright spot in my week. Every week that we were able to put it on. I hope you've been enjoying as well. For those who've been listening through all of them, and if you haven't, just pick one and see if you like it.
How long do you think each of our episodes last?
I think our average time is about 50 minutes or so.
About 50 minutes? Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Why would you ask?
I'm gonna total up how many minutes we've spent on.
Well, there was a couple that were like an hour 20, which that is our record. Shout out Max Robson for having the record for longest Underqualified Knuckleheads episode. That was maybe a tad too long. To be completely honest with you, maybe we should have saved Faces of the Franchise for another day. Maybe like today, when all we have to talk about is the NFL draft. So this will be a short and sweet one. We say that every time, but it's never that.
Okay, so if we average about 50 minutes an episode, about 50 minutes an episode, let's add
maybe a little longer,
maybe longer,
55
minutes. 55 minutes an episode times the 20 episodes that we've recorded this academic year.
It's been 20. It was 10 first semester, and this is now?
Yeah, it's 10.
Okay.
Works out pretty well.
Yeah.
We have spent 1,100 minutes together on microphones.
Wow.
Recording our voices. And you guys have spent 1,100 minutes listening to us. Roughly.
If you're actually one of the people that listens to every single episode, I know there are some.
You know who it is?
Who? Your dad.
It's Robert Keene.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Robert Keene.
Correct. Well, and I appreciate you, Mr. Keene. Thank you very much.
And then every now and then
support.
My mom listens to one. And
my dad does too.
She'll text me and be like, hey.
Yeah. My dad does too.
I think I can't remember what it was, but she texted me after listening to the episode. And she goes, I need to get Andy on the phone. I got to tell him some things.
Whoa.
It was like something you said that she really didn't agree with. I can't remember what it was.
Jeez.
Oh, no, it was when it was during Ben Hamilton's episode.
Yeah.
When you guys were talking about what is and is not a sport. She was like, I need to get them on the phone and tell them some things.
I was just kind of going along with what Ben was saying. I think he made some valid points, but I would personally say that all of those things that he said aren't sports are sports. I think golf is a sport. I think competitive cheer is a sport. I think cornhole might be a sport. I think maybe.
I think anything that requires expertise or high level of skill in a sort of physical competition.
I think it's physical exertion and some sort of competition. I think are the two things that are required.
There has to be like a little bit of strategy involved.
Yeah. Sometimes
I don't think
there's
chess
a ball,
is a sport because there's not a lot of physical exertion.
Chess?
Yeah, I don't think it's a sport.
No. There's not a whole lot of physical exertion there. I think physical exertion is probably the biggest aspect that people kind of leave out sometimes.
I will say, like, for a long time, I thought golf wasn't really a sport because there wasn't a lot of physical exertion.
Walking up those hills, man.
And then also, I played 18 rounds of golf, and I couldn't lift my arms the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, I had to take, 5 swings per shot because it was my first step. It was my first round of golf.
Like practice swings.
So it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
No, not practice swings. Like, I lost a lot of balls. I lost for a long time. For a long time, me playing golf was just about keeping as many balls as I could. Like I wanted to hold on to my balls. And like now when I golf, I don't really lose balls that often.
Good.
But like when I first started playing golf, I would go through probably a dozen to 24 balls around.
It's not good.
It was not good. But now I don't lose my balls too often. I get to hold on to them.
Speaking of golf, shout out to my cousin Caden on the East Noble Knights men's golf team, or boys golf team, I guess it's in high school. He's doing really well there. Shout out Caden. And shout out my brother for making the JV the JV golf team his senior year of high school, which, odd. Why would you take a guy that your senior year on JV? I would usually think that JV is for, like, I don't know, making kids that are younger better so they can become like those starter guys or whatever.
I had a kid in high school who was a senior, and seniors usually aren't allowed to play on JV.
Yeah.
But we played high school
in
football.
Golf?
No, football.
Oh, this is that's different, I think.
Coach was like genuinely worried about putting him out on the field against varsity players.
Yeah.
So he made him play with the JV kids. And he was kind of saving face. He was like, Coach wants me to play with the JV guys so I can help teach them and help with my experience. And I was like,
I have known people like that. Yeah.
You are like, he was like 5'2", less than 100 pounds. It was kind of like,
I know people. There were people like that in my high school as well. Generally, you're not going to have guys that are on varsity or seniors that are on JV. I think golf, it's weirdly different because it just took the best, like, 12 people or whatever.
Golf's pretty different.
Yeah. And my brother just happened to be one of the, like, he was top 10 out of 12 or whatever, so he barely made it. I think he's in it for the free golf and for getting better, I think. I think he enjoys it. I'm hoping he's having a good time.
Looking back on it, I totally should have played golf in high school.
Yeah.
You get to play a lot of free golf.
Yeah. I mean, hey, and he, literally, all he has to do is go up to, like, the front desk and be like, hey, my name is Nathan Newman. I'm here for Carroll Charger Golf. Can I get around? And they're like, yeah, here you go. The school pays for it.
I was supposed to cover.
Great.
I was supposed to cover on Friday. I was supposed to cover a boys golf tournament.
Yeah.
For the job I freelance for.
Shout out Harold Bolton.
Shout out to Harold Bolton and my boss. We were talking about the games, and I told him I could cover on Friday, which now I can. I have to go home for some family stuff.
Yeah.
But originally I told him I could cover on Friday, and he goes, by the way, if you just walk up to the clubhouse and tell them you're here with the Herald and you're reporting today, they'll give you a cart and you just drive it around.
Yep.
I will say there is no better feeling than just driving around a golf cart. It's a good feeling.
I'd rather drive a golf cart than my car.
Yeah, no, I don't like driving my car too often.
Well, your car is an interesting car.
Whoa there, whoa there.
The shift.
Whoa there. The vibe gets me. The vibe gets me to and fro.
I saw when we were pulling out of Kyle's house yesterday. That thing, it sounded like it.
Yeah, it makes some good noises. I don't know if they're good noises.
No,
they're definitely not bad. They're noises. You know, I wouldn't classify them as bad. I've gotten
We'll classify them as awesome.
No, I don't. Yeah, well, you know, my parents give me a car, and I'm very thankful that my parents give me a car.
No. Free car.
Yeah. But also, like, I got to take care of it, make sure it doesn't die on me. So I've gotten very, like, good at when you hear a noise in the car, AC goes off, radio goes off. You listen to make sure it's like not something crazy. But there's like this one noise that my radio makes because it's like, I don't know if it's like a radio. Like every now and then you'll hear something rattling around in your dash. Mm-hmm. You ever had that with like your car?
No, maybe my old one.
Yeah, like you ever hear something rattling around in the dash, and if you just smack your hand on the dash, like the rattle goes away, and you're like, that's fine.
I don't know if I've ever had that problem before, but okay.
Like I said, the vibe gets me to and from.
It's a vibe,
and it's also really fun to drive.
It's a vibe.
I love driving stick, and it's a vibe.
It is a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
So let's just
the NFL draft.
Yeah, so let's just go to that. Yeah, that I think that's only a big talking point for the day.
That's pretty much most of it. We'll do a little bit of like round out the years.
We can talk about some XFL quickly because I know people don't really care, but I do, and this is my podcast as well. So, we could talk about what else? We talk about a little like here. Let's talk 30 seconds of NBA. Shout out Joel Embiid for winning the NBA MVP this year. Congratulations.
Celtics Warriors finals is still on the cards. Just saying.
I highly doubt that will happen. Shout out Dylan Brooks for being the biggest clown of the year.
Gosh,
Can we talk about that a little bit? Just a little bit.
Yeah. So if you guys missed it, Dylan Brooks, he's a bench player for the.
No, he's a starter. I thought
he's not a starter.
What?
I don't think he's a starter.
I thought he was a starter.
He's seen on the bench.
That's not a me question. He is a role player contributor.
He is a basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies, and they came up against the Lakers, and he was talking mad trash about LeBron James, and he said something like, I don't respect the guy until he puts 40 up on me. LeBron.
He also said, "I don't care. He's old."
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. He's like very. I mean, you could disrespect legends if you want, but they'll do that. They'll do that thing where they come out and have a game, and LeBron James just doused him.
Take it personally.
And then after they got eliminated from the playoffs, the front office let him know that he will not be returning to the Grizzlies under any circumstances.
Under any circumstances. What?
That's pretty bad. That's a clown move right there.
That's awful. Just imagine being told,
put the face paint on.
You will not be back on this team under any circumstances. You've burned so many bridges and done so many things that are so bad that we do not want you at. I don't care.
Pretty bad.
If you say, well, I'll give you money to play for the Grizzlies, we don't want you under any circumstances.
They don't want him.
Zero. I find that funny.
Okay. Where's the XFL at right now? Aren't they in the playoffs?
The XFL is in the playoffs, and actually the team of the podcast, which is not really the team of the podcast anymore, is the Arlington Renegades are in the championship. Drew Plitt, no longer their starting quarterback there. Kind of disappointing for us. I do believe Drew's injured somehow or something happened there.
Yeah, he had a knee injury.
He had some struggles earlier in the year. They brought in another guy, their backup guy. And then I guess somehow during practice or something like that, he hurt himself. Shout out Drew. Hope he's doing better. We believe in him. Hope he gets well. But Luis Perez, which is basically the spring league football GOAT.
Yep.
He's played on all the teams, in all the leagues, the AAF, the Alliance of American Football, the USFL, United States Football League, and now the XFL. He's played in all of them. I think in every year.
Guy just wants to play ball.
He just wants to play. This is the same guy that learned how to play. He's a quarterback. Learned how to become and play quarterback, the position, on YouTube. Yes.
No way, really?
This man was like, I want to play football. He goes, I want to play football. How do I play football? Looked up how to be a quarterback on YouTube. Did all this stuff, and now
That's not true. That's wild.
100% true. Yeah. So, this guy learned how to play quarterback on YouTube, and now he's in the XFL Championship versus the DC Defenders. I think, by the way, my St. Louis Battlehawks got screwed, and I just like to say that. The Arlington Renegades only won 4 games all season and made it to the championship at this point now.
Hey, you got to win in the postseason.
The Battlehawks didn't even get a chance to go, and they were 7-3. Yeah,
because they didn't win their division, right?
Correct. That is correct.
You got to win your division.
Ben DiNucci, Philip Lindsay, and Josh Gordon. And by the way, they lost as well. So it's DC Defenders versus Arlington Renegades. Roughnecks lost to the Renegades. It should be a good game. It's on Saturday, I do believe, May 13th.
Whoopers.
Something like that. No, not May 13th. Well, is there a bye week? There might be a bye week. Ooh, I'm going to look that up. But I think it's May 13th.
While you're looking that up, let's run through the USFL real quick. Just saying, Panthers are now playing at Ford Field. I will definitely try to get a game in this summer. Tickets are like $15.
Yeah.
So.
It is Saturday, May 13th for the XFL Championship. Arlington Renegades versus DC Defenders. Be there, be square. I won't be there. I will be square. But it's on ABC and ESPN. Deportes. So,
nice
but it's on ABC.
So the USFL standings, it's going well. The New Jersey Generals are 2-1 at the top of the North. The Panthers are also 2-1. We're starting pretty well.
Yeah.
Your Stallions are 2-1.
Our starting quarterback is out for the year though.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Lame.
The New Orleans Breakers are 3-0 though.
Yeah, we just lost to them.
They look pretty good.
Yeah.
They look very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I have noticed about the USFL in comparison to the XFL has a lot of fan appeal for whatever reason. I don't know if it's The Rock. I don't know if it's just like people like X instead of US. I don't really know. But for whatever reason.
You know why, though?
Why?
It's because the XFL started sooner.
Well, the USFL also did start in the 80s.
No, I'm saying the XFL started sooner in the postseason.
Yeah, no.
If the USFL started a week before the XFL did, most of the fandom would be at the USFL right now.
I think a lot. Also, the USFL has done a couple things, or the XFL has done a couple things the USFL can't. That's getting a team in a home stadium for every single team. USFL only has 4 hubs.
Yep.
And then also, I think that the XFL is just drawing in a lot better talent. You got your Josh Gordons, you got your Ben DiNucci's, you got your Philip Lindsay's up in there. And I think also they found cities that are actually adamant about football and really want to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Like St. Louis. St. Louis, big football town. Obviously, Rams left them back in 2016 was that? 2017, 2016 area. And obviously St. Louis been completely just void of a football team since until XFL came back in 2020. And then obviously it went defunct because of big old daddy COVID. But I think the XFL has a great idea on where to get fan interaction and how to promote it. And I think it's The Rock being the figurehead is also very helpful. USFL just does not have all that. So I feel if there was one of the two leagues where it's going to go defunct, it'd probably be the USFL is my idea at this point.
I will say, though, you can get pretty much field side seats for $15 at the USFL, which
is nice.
It's not high quality football, but it's something.
Yeah, the XFL actually it costs a pretty penny sometimes if you want to get close.
Well, I have still yet to go to Ford Field for an actual football game. I've been to Ford Field for a lot of other reasons other than football games.
Other than a Lions football game?
Yes, other than a Lions football game. So I might as well just start going to Panthers games rather than Lions games. I've been to more Lions games in Indianapolis than I have in Detroit.
You're welcome, by the way.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
And, it was a pretty good setup for the season because
I really did not think we were going to be that bad.
I was 100% certain.
You were right.
You guys were horrible.
You were right.
I talked mad trash at the beginning of the year, and
Kyle and I thought that was funny.
And you guys thought it was funny.
We did.
And look where you're at now.
Nowhere good.
Well, 4th overall pick.
Speaking of fourth
overall pick, let's talk about the NFL draft.
Yes, let's do that.
Look at that transition.
Why? We could have.
One more time.
Oh. Why couldn't we have just had one,
because when you do good, you got to highlight it.
Fine. We could just put it in the show notes. Great transition at whatever. Do we ever even do that? I forget.
No, I've added stuff to the show notes before.
I also was supposed to post pictures of Max Robson's head.
Yeah, I didn't really
want to do that.
All my love to Max, but that was a little weird.
He sent it to me. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I don't know. I just thought
just randomly posting a picture of Max Robson's head in a big line with all of his hair on headphones or whatever.
Yeah, I don't really want that on our brand page.
That did not sound appealing. So I just decided not to do that.
We called the audible there.
Yeah, good call. I think it was a great call.
It was a good call.
Anyway, so the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, not surprisingly, was Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young was the correct pick here. I think that he should have been the number 1 pick overall basically the entire time, and he should have been. I know that there was a lot of smoke screens and people throwing stuff at the wall to see what it will stick.
Will Levis, number 1 overall. We'll tell you how that one goes.
Whatever. I think Bryce Young is the only correct pick there, and I'm glad that the Panthers picked him. All love to the Panthers. They don't have a Super Bowl yet, so I'm rooting for them as well.
You're rooting for Frank Reich?
Yeah, Frank. I wish Frank all the best.
That's cold.
Yeah. And then I also have a couple of friends that are Panthers fans as well, and I know that they're passionate about what they do. So I hope that they do well.
I think it's a good pick. I mean, it's a good pick.
It was the only pick.
I think this first year, though, you got to be careful about the weapons he's got.
Which is, I think, actually he has.
He's got a couple. They signed
Adam Thielen.
They signed Thielen.
DJ Chark.
DJ Chark from the Lions.
Yeah, and there's somebody else. I feel like there was one other person. Mooney's gone.
No, Mooney's gone, and
I don't know.
They traded away Moore.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not Mooney. Was Mooney ever
even on
the
Panthers?
Andy
Dalton's on the Carolina
Panthers? Yes, I did know that.
I did not know that.
So is Sam Darnold, I do believe, if he still is.
No, he's not.
Where's Sam Darnold at now?
I have no clue. They signed Miles Sanders in the backfield.
Yeah.
And then Chubba Hubbard. I love that name.
Chubba. They have another wide receiver, though. I know.
Terrence Marshall, DJ Chark, Adam Thielen.
Terrence Marshall, that's who it is. Yeah, whatever.
It could be good. I will be excited. I will say, though, Baker Mayfield could have totally just ran it in Carolina.
Well, guess where he's at now?
He's in Tampa Bay, which I kind of like. He's going to bring him a Super Bowl.
No, he's not.
I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy.
I know a lot of people
compare him to Johnny Manziel, and they're like, he's a bust, but
the NFC South is deplorable.
I honestly believe
it's awful.
No,
it's terrible.
Is the portal
deplorable?
Oh, it is pretty bad.
Yeah.
It is pretty bad. I will say though, if he stayed in Cleveland, I think he would have been just fine. I don't think anything that Deshaun Watson has done, either in the media, in terms of overall morality, or on the field of football, has done anything reasonably compared to Baker Mayfield.
No, I get that. I mean, obviously in his Texans days, you could have said that Deshaun Watson was much better than Baker Mayfield.
Well, but
as of right now,
I
get it.
Any of that.
I get it. I don't know. I think this is the year that Deshaun Watson has to prove himself.
Prove is like $200 million contract?
Correct, yes.
You should not
Which
have
is
to
still
prove
crazy,
it if
yeah.
you were getting paid $200 million.
I really don't understand that whole situation. Again, will always be super weird.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, terrible idea by the Browns. I always was rooting for the Browns too. Browns are another team that's been struggling for years. It's like if the Lions signed Deshaun Watson to like a $220 million contract. It really sucked.
I lost a lot of respect for the Browns. Like I was a big Browns guy.
Yeah,
but okay, we should get to the
everybody
draft.
was. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Deshaun Watson's former team. They had to fill a QB role. They couldn't go with.
Hold on, before that, Bryce Young, by the way, kind of reminds me of two individuals.
Can you say Drew Brees?
No. Could you? There are two individuals, possibly Hall of Fame guy. One of them, clear Hall of Famer. Who do you think that Bryce Young reminds me of?
Well, his pro day comparison was Drew Brees, and
give me Russell Wilson.
Oh yeah, what about Warren Moon?
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Should you have ever
should have sold those? I don't know. Should have sold them. Should have sold them. Football cards. Yeah. Continue.
Either way, C.J. Stroud at number 2 overall, and honestly, let's talk about the 3 overall pick as well, because not only did the Texans draft C.J. Stroud 2 overall, got their franchise QB, they then traded for the 3rd overall pick and picked up Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah.
Arguably a top 3 quarterback on the
top 3 player, you mean?
Top 3 player on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball. I mean,
what?
They picked up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Will Anderson was a top 3 player on the offensive side of the ball. I was like, what?
No, C.J. Stroud's a top 3 player on the offensive side of the ball. Will Anderson's a top 3 player on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's a really good move from both of them.
Picks.
I will say I don't have a lot of faith in C.J. Stroud, mainly because he played at one of the worst college football schools in the world.
And that's some bias right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Heavy bias, as you can read my hoodie on the live.
Yeah, Michigan Wolverines all over the place.
Will Anderson, a little upset about it, but whatever. I really thought he was going to drop to 6. And the
No way did you think he was going to drop to 6. No way.
But that brought around the 4th overall pick, and Andy is going to have a field day with this one, Andy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, shout out to the Texans for getting 2 of the best picks in the draft. I have no idea. I think everyone kind of figured and predicted that the top 3 picks would be C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, and Will Anderson. I don't think anybody would have picked that. They would have gone. 2 of them would have gone to the same team in the Texans. The Texans really going all out on those first couple picks there. Obviously, they must have been sold on both of them. It's probably why there was a lot of talk earlier in the week and in the whole offseason and all lead up to the draft about how the Texans were looking at defense instead of offense. And obviously, they were looking at both because they got both. So I think maybe a good play there by the Texans. We'll kind of have to see. They could be great. They could be not great. They could be helpful. They could be not helpful. Who knows? You never know. It could be another 2013 draft on our hands where all of the players are terrible. Probably not. But yes, the Indianapolis Colts with the number 4 overall pick in the NFL draft selected Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida.
I won't say anything.
Yeah. No. I'll go with this.
I'm just saying overall I will say nothing on this pick.
Okay.
It's been picked. We're going to see how I don't know.
I want your thoughts though.
I get a little upset. Not upset. I get a little bored when it comes to post-draft day, speculation. At the end of the day, no one knows how the hell Anthony Richardson is going to do in 6 months.
No, you have no clue.
He could be throwing 4 picks in his first game, and you'll have to sub in Gardner Minshew or guy's the next Lamar Jackson. You don't know.
Yeah. So Anthony Richardson, I think it was
he's athletic.
At pick number 4. At pick number 4, I think with C.J. Stroud off the board, with Bryce Young off the board, is the only choice that the Colts could have made. For what I've been told, they're not going to be the number 1 pick, even if they would have had the number 1 overall.
I
which is
don't
odd,
know about that.
Which is
I think
odd.
a lot of teams say that.
Yeah. Basically, but I've heard essentially that if the Colts kind of have gotten to this point where they've been patch and go with their quarterback position for so long, that's what Chris Ballard's kind of just been doing. You've got your Phillip Rivers, your Jacoby Brissett, your Carson Wentz, your Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, Nick Foles, whatever. I think he's gotten to the point where mediocre is going to win you an AFC championship and a Super Bowl, and mediocre is going to win you an AFC South division title either. So why not go for the guy who has the absolute highest ceiling in the draft, which is Anthony Richardson. I wasn't overly thrilled with the fact that Anthony Richardson was the guy that we had to take at that. But I've looked at his highlights. He could be the next. I don't know what he could be. He could be the next greatest. He could be the next Patrick Mahomes if you really wanted to be. I don't know. But he could also be the next, Jamarcus Russell. So you literally have no clue. Dude only played 13 games in college.
He didn't play a lot of football.
No, and I watched both his highlights, which were insane, and his lowlights, which were really bad. So hopefully Shane Steichen has the gusto to figure him out and get him into playing shape in the NFL ready. I don't know if that's week 1. I don't know if that's even this year. Yep. I kind of am fine if it's not, because then we can get Marvin Harrison Jr., and that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it was the right pick at that time. I think that the Colts have a chance of hitting a home run. They also have a chance of wasting number 4 overall pick in the NFL draft. So it is what it is.
Worst case scenario, they're back there in a year.
Worst case scenario, we're just doing the exact same thing we're doing anyway.
PFF's 2024 mock draft has the Colts picking 4th overall. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know if there's really a whole lot else to say other than the fact that we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. I'm happy with I'm at peace with it. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah,
sure.
Then speaking of, I don't know. Speaking of whatever, it's
speaking
the NFL
of
draft.
The 5th pick.
The 5th pick. Seattle trades up to take Devin Witherspoon, arguably the best cornerback in the draft.
I don't think they traded up. They did.
Says they traded up.
From who?
I believe they traded with Denver. Oh, they got it.
They got it from Denver. No. They were already there. Yeah, they didn't trade
the Russell Wilson trade. Okay, sorry.
They did not trade.
My confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. He's the best cornerback in the draft. They need a cornerback. That's kind of how it works. Then
bring back that Legion of Boom there.
Then 6th overall. So when the Texans traded up for Will Anderson, they traded that 3rd pick with the Cardinals, who dropped down to 12th, who then traded that pick with the Lions to take the best offensive tackle in the draft, Paris Johnson Jr. This is good. They need protection for Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy to write home about this. I will say, though, on the topic of trading with the Lions, if Will Anderson was available, I think the Lions don't trade. If Devin Witherspoon is available, I think the Lions think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, at this point in time, they spent a lot of the draft accruing more capital.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart move at the end of the day.
Yeah. Continue.
7th overall, Texas Tech took Tyree Wilson. Or not Texas Tech.
Texas Tech took Tyree. Texas Tech has
really
been promoted to the NFL.
It's been a really long
takes
day.
Tyree Wilson, a player they already had.
The Raiders take Texas Tech's Tyree Wilson.
There we go.
He's a good defensive end. He's probably the second best. Will Anderson. Mm-hmm. Well, Will Anderson's listed as an outside linebacker.
Is he really?
Yeah, but he can run the edge.
Yeah, that he can.
And then with the 8th pick, Falcons take Bijan Robinson, who was the Saquon Barkley of this year's draft.
Wait, where did the Lions go? What was their first overall?
They drafted down to 12.
Okay, I remember that.
So they traded with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But Bijan Robinson is he's the best rated running back in the draft.
Again, way too high for running back.
Way too high. Also, the Falcons have a 1,000-yard rusher on their roster.
Who?
They had I can't remember his name.
Todd Gurley. He's not on the roster anymore.
Falcons.
No, they don't. They do not.
Yep, they did.
Tyler Algier.
I can't remember what his name is, but they had a player rush for 1,000 yards.
Cordero Patterson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He rushed for
Cordero Patterson?
Yeah, he rushed for
Yeah.
No. Algier. He rushed for 1,000 yards.
Okay. What?
So, he rushed for 1,000 yards.
Whatever.
Patterson rushed for 6.
Cordero Patterson almost screwed me in fantasy football.
He had a bad year. Either way, I feel like that running back room was already set. I think they could have drafted a guy like Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
They could have drafted a guy like Peter Skronsky. It was one of the better offensive tackles in the draft. They could have gone defensive end with Lucas Van Ness. I feel like there were a lot better ways to use that pick than to draft a running back at 8. So.
Oh, I remember what the Lions pick was now.
We'll talk about this in a minute. 9, Georgia took Jalen Carter. I know there's a lot of negative media around Jalen Carter because of his reckless driving.
His driving that was also at the same time involved with the death of 2 individuals.
Yes, so that's pretty bad. But I think he cleared the charges though.
He went down to Georgia, got it all figured out. I don't know if it's 100% figured out though, but It's enough where teams were willing to draft him. So I think it's a steal if he's able to play in the NFL by the Eagles there.
Yeah.
But he was definitely the best available by
also,
far.
it's a Georgia guy. This will be a theme for the Eagles.
Yeah.
In the draft. And then 10, Tennessee took, or not 10.
Yes.
Chicago took Tennessee's offensive tackle, Darnell Wright. Very good pick. Peter Skronsky went to the Titans at 11 with the Titans not taking Will Levis. Will Levis dropped a lot farther than I thought he was going to in this draft. I thought he was going to go in the first round. Did you see his first round setup?
What?
Like
with all the people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of people there.
That he did.
Okay.
a nice suit he didn't get to use.
And then it brings around to 12, where the Lions draft Jahmyr Gibbs. Alabama running back.
That was definitely a choice.
Definitely a choice that not a lot of people liked.
Nope.
But he was ranked as the second best running back in the draft.
Doesn't matter.
The Patriots were eyeing a running back.
Oh, whatever.
And he's not just a good running back. He's great out of the backfield. If you watch his highlights, watch Alabama's highlights this year, Alabama's offense struggled a lot. And a lot of the time that they got anything going was through Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think it's a good idea, and you'll see it later in the draft, but after they draft Jahmyr Gibbs, they send off DeAndre Swift to...
How far are we going here? I think we only should do the first round.
We're only doing the first round,
good,
but
good,
I do think this should be talked about.
Oh, yeah.
The Lions shipped off DeAndre.
You can talk all the Lions stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think after the first round, we can talk Colts, you can talk Lions, and then we can say goodbye.
Yep. Either way, so the Lions draft DeAndre Swift or trade DeAndre Swift to the Eagles. The Eagles pick up another Georgia player. My big thing with DeAndre Swift is, he has the potential to be a very good running back. Except he's been in the league.
Not for the Lions.
He's been in the league for a couple of years now, and when he's good, he's good. But when he's bad, he's really bad.
Yeah.
And he's a very inconsistent running back. So I think this was a good idea. I think our free agent signing will be our starting running back. Jahmyr Gibbs will be kind of a tool guy to move around, and I don't hate this. Also, DeAndre Swift was going to have to get paid if we kept him around much longer. So,
what was he number one? What pick was he in the draft when you guys grabbed him?
12.
No. I'm talking DeAndre Swift back in the day.
He was a late first rounder, right?
Exactly. Never take a running back in the first round. That's just me. If you're gonna,
he was drafted with the third pick of the second round.
Oh, okay. Well, still,
so,
it's
but
still high.
yeah,
but fine.
Yeah, he's only 24.
Running backs are insanely replaceable. It's crazy.
Yep, he's only 24.
I don't get it.
He's got a lot of time, but it wasn't working out in Detroit. Iowa, not Iowa. Ugh. Packers take Lucas Van Ness. Whatever.
Cool.
Good for them. I hate the Packers.
That was an interesting pick. I know a lot of Packers fans wanted
I hate the Packers.
another individual.
I hate the Packers.
Yeah, let's continue.
I hate the Packers.
And the other individual
Wait,
was
one more
wide receiver.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Oh, I hate the Packers. Okay.
Okay, cool. The Pittsburgh Steelers, with the number 14th overall pick, picked Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. A lot of Georgia guys.
I won't lie. Offensive tackles are really hard to grade coming out of the draft.
New York Jets selected Will McDonald the fourth out of Iowa State. A lot of Iowa and Georgia people. I don't know what's up with that.
Whatever.
Iowa football, like Iowa University, terrible. Like the past couple years of football. I don't really understand how they're getting so many people up here.
Defensively, very good.
Yeah.
Iowa's got really good tight ends, really good linebackers, really good offensive tackles.
Everything else is bad.
Everything else is horrible.
Not good.
They can protect their quarterback, but then their quarterback will throw it 2 yards.
So Washington Commanders with the 16th overall pick picked Emmanuel Forbes.
I really like that pick.
Which is interesting because I would have figured that Christian Gonzalez would have been the second corner off the table.
I do like that pick, though. He fits into Washington's system pretty well.
Which is garbage.
Yeah.
Washington system of nothing. And then number 17, the New England Patriots selected Christian Gonzalez, probably the best pick there available for him. They can honestly take anybody at that point. I think he was probably the best available.
He was the 8th overall player ranked coming into the draft.
Yeah, which I thought he was going to get selected a lot higher.
Yeah, so it's a good pick.
And then number 18, this is your guys again.
He's a Dan Campbell guy.
Well, his last name is Campbell.
He's a gritty, he's a tough, he's a Dan Campbell guy.
And his last name is Campbell.
Yes, they take inside linebacker Jack Campbell. This is
Iowa
good because Anzalone's a good player, but he's He's kind of a role player at best in our system, and I think he'll do a lot of learning. But also, guy is 6'5", 249.
Yep.
He's gritty. He's big.
Gritty.
He's good.
A lot of grit.
Yeah. You could be the next Luke Kuechly.
Could.
Just saying.
Maybe not.
Do you remember the picture of Luke Kuechly when he got drafted?
What? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so keep talking, but I'll look it up.
Yeah. At number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now led by, as we talked about earlier, Baker Mayfield, picked Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle out of Pitt. Not a huge pick or flashy pick or anything, but definitely something that'll probably be very helpful. Wow, that guy looks like he could work at Facebook.
Luke Kuechly's. Look it up right now. I'll try to show it if you can, but.
Yeah, he looks like Mark Zuckerberg, or Jesse.
He does not look like he's
Jesse
going
Eisenberg.
on. He does not look like he's about to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL
for a brief period,
for almost 10 years.
No.
Yes.
No. How long? Look how long Luke Kuechly was in the NFL. Not 10 years. He remember he retired early. Remember
he retired early, but
it wasn't 10.
He was one of the best
I thought
linebackers.
It was like 7, maybe.
8 seasons.
Okay.
But close to
closer.
a decade. I was rounding a decade. But that decade he was in the NFL, he was one of the best linebackers in the league.
Anyway, at number 20, here's finally where the first wide receiver is picked off the board. Also to the Seattle Seahawks, once again, Jackson Smith and Jigba out of a wide receiver. Wide receiver out of Ohio State. Again, I know Daniel is not going to be a big fan of this individual because he's from Ohio State.
I won't lie, though.
Yeah,
Seattle killed this draft.
Great.
Seattle did very good in this draft.
There were 3 teams that I feel or 2 teams that I feel definitely killed this draft. Seattle, and the Eagles.
And the Eagles.
Yep. And then, honestly, and this is not biased because PFF gave them a A+. Indianapolis Colts got an A+ by the PFF.
Yeah. Well, everybody's given. Well, actually, the Lions got a pretty high draft grade too. Most of the analysts are like, "Oh, these are good picks,"
which is crazy. I think I heard Pat McAfee talking about this on his show. Did every team kill the draft? Was there like a loser?
I don't
think so. I don't know if there was a team that was like, "Wow, this team did horrible." I don't think so.
I'm trying to think.
I really don't think so. I think the Lions maybe in the first round.
Whoa there.
Yeah,
we got some steals in the second round, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, you got better. Yeah.
Either way,
continuing.
Then that started a domino of wide receiver drops. Quentin Johnson from TCU, who honestly is my pick for the best wide receiver in this draft class.
Great. Yeah.
Smith and Jigma also has a lot of potential, but I do lean towards Quentin Johnson here, not just because he's a non-Ohio State guy, but then Zay Flowers out of Boston College. He's going to be that next good player out of Boston College that nobody saw coming.
Yep.
Then Jordan Addison. I don't know a whole lot about this guy, but he's a USC guy. He's the 3rd ranked wide receiver. And Quentin Johnson's the 4th ranked, which I disagree with, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then we get back to non-wide receivers, and the Giants take Deontay Banks out of Maryland, 5th overall cornerback. I don't really care.
Bills got Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. I really thought Michael Mayer was going to drop in this spot. I thought Michael Mayer would be the first tight end off the board. Clearly not. He went in the 2nd round. But I think Michael Mayer will probably end up being the best out of this draft. That's just me. I think that's a lot of bias as well. But
did you see the video of Michael Mayer reacting to not being the first tight end? He was pissed.
Oh, yeah. And I think rightfully so. I think he earned that spot, but clearly he didn't. But that's just, hey, whatever. To each his own. The Dallas Cowboys 26 picking Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle on Michigan. This is one of your guys. You know him really at all?
He's a great run defender.
Yeah.
And he's a strong prospect, but I don't know how well he's going to fit in Dallas.
Yeah.
But, it could work, but I have doubts.
Speaking of Dallas, I know that we're not going to talk about them again. Great story out of the draft. Deuce Vaughn getting drafted by his own father.
That was funny.
It was emotional. It was funny. I think it was probably the highlight of the draft overall, other than James Draws announcing Nick Jones to the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. You know who I'm talking about?
Say it one more time.
James Draws. Kansas City, what happened?
He drafted Nick Jones.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't say Kansas City what happened, though, because he's a Kansas City fan. But, yeah, he drafted Nick Jones out of Ball State. I think it was the top 5 Ball State moment. Nick Jaws, famous TikToker, was able to go out onto the platform for the Chiefs for their pick in the 7th round. Ended up being Nick Jones, which is super, super cool. And people are calling Nick Jones instant Hall of Famer. So, you know what? It could happen. we could have a Hall of Famer in Ball State University purely because of James Strauss.
Yep.
Shout out James. Number 27, Jacksonville Jaguars picked Anton Harrison, offensive tackle. Not a whole lot of flash for the rest of this draft. Bengals, Miles Murphy. Thought he would have been taken a little earlier. Saints, Brian Breesy. Or Brian Breesy? Yeah.
Breesy is 2 E's.
Yeah. Defensive tackle out of Clemson. Nolan Smith finally getting taken. I thought he'd go a little bit earlier as well. To the Philadelphia Eagles, another Georgia guy. I think, again, the Eagles literally picked everyone from Georgia and then traded for someone from Georgia.
Yep.
Great stuff from the Eagles this draft. I think the Eagles probably are the winners of everything, if there was one to be said. And then the Kansas City Chiefs at 31 picked Felix something. Anudik Uzama? Anudik?
I don't know how to say that. I won't lie to you.
He's edge out of Kansas State. Good for him. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome to the NFL.
I will say, as we talk a little bit about steals, guys we liked that fell, I like Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. I like Iowa guys, especially Iowa tight ends. And then the big one for me was Brian Branch, absolute steal in the second round from Alabama. He's been ranked as one of the top 2, not 2 safeties in this draft class, and I'm really excited that they got him. And then
and also Joey Porter going to the Steelers.
Getting Joey Porter was a good steal.
And they had Joey Porter before. Now they have Joey Porter Jr. Big Steeler.
Tennessee, the Titans getting Will Levis in the second round. I mean,
it's a pick.
Yeah, it's a pick. I think
choice was made.
Because of how highly he was ranked coming into the draft, people
really
like,
thought
that's a steal for the Titans. But I think the bigger steal, and I'm gonna flex some bias here, but it's totally not bias. Hendon Hooker, 3rd round QB.
I think that's great
for out of Tennessee. If he does not tear his ACL, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah,
he's a top 5 draft pick, like easy.
Just imagine this draft class if all 5 of them would have been healthy. That'd
have been wild.
Been crazy. I think that the Titans probably got good value out of Will Levis. He could not be good. I don't know. Obviously the Titans are willing to take a chance on him. That quarterback room is going to be really interesting with Malik Willis, Will Levis, and Ryan Tannehill. I don't really know what that means.
I don't really know why they took a quarterback, but
I think obviously they clearly Malik Willis was not good, and they were like, yeah, we don't really want this guy. This was a bad pick by us, and obviously they were sold in some capacity on Will Levis. If they were super sold on him, they would have taken him in the first round. But I don't know. Good luck.
Yeah. Who do you think will be the biggest bust of this draft class?
Biggest bust. Oof. I would have initially said Will Levis if he would have been taken earlier, but I don't think that he. It really could be
Tyree Wilson.
Really?
Yep.
I think it could be Anthony Richardson is the thing, which is really sad. There's a chance that he is the biggest. He could be. He is either the biggest home run or the biggest bust of the draft. It's either one. There's no in between. There's no mediocre quarterback play from him. He's either going to be great or he's going to be terrible. So I think as of right now, it could be Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it could be C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. One of the two of them could be terrible too. Who knows? Yeah.
I will say, speaking of draft busts, it's still really fun to watch this arc. Josh Rosen drafted number 2 overall. 2 overall?
Yeah, something like that. Oh no,
he was a low first rounder.
Because he was 10 or something.
He was drafted above.
There was a bunch of people. He was just like, I want to make all those people.
Yeah, and then he goes, I was drafted behind blank other quarterbacks. I'm going to prove them all wrong.
Yeah.
He spent the year on the Arizona Cardinals, a year with the Dolphins, a year with the 49ers, a year with the Buccaneers, a year with the Falcons, and he just got cut by the Cleveland Browns. So, you know what? Good try, buddy.
Yeah, attempts were made.
He tried.
He did better than me.
He did better
than much better than myself.
I wouldn't have even gotten the payday in the NFL. So
absolutely not.
You know what?
Congratulations,
he made some money, but
congratulations. Yeah,
we'll see him in the XFL next season.
I doubt. Actually, no. He probably
could have.
Yeah.
Well, he's only playing on practice.
So thoughts on the Lions overall?
I think it's a good draft. I think. From an outside perspective, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a bad draft," because we didn't draft guys with high positional value.
No, we did not.
We drafted guys who are going to fit our system. We drafted guys who are going to fit our culture. We drafted guys who are going to work hard. I think a part of the reason why they took Sam Laporta over Michael Mayer was because Sam Laporta's got that got the type of culture, the type of mindset.
I think
type
Michael Mayer would
of
have been a great pick for you guys.
I
personally.
disagree.
Why? He's Notre Dame guy.
Because he's a tight end that's going to require a lot of passes. He's going to require a lot of shots.
That was TJ Uzama with you guys though.
TJ Uzama, TJ Hawkinson.
TJ Uzama is a tight end from the Bengals. sorry. Yeah, was on the Bengals.
Yeah, and that wasn't beneficial to our team, so we shipped him off to Minnesota. We need versatile tight ends. Who can do more blocking than they can passing, and Sam Laporta does that.
I don't know. I think that Michael Mayer would have been a good fit. That's just me. I think he's great all the way around. But hey, I think he would have been a great fit for that Dan Campbell vibe as well. That's just me. And then for the Colts, for me, I think we did a great job. Our second-round pick, the corner, I already forgot his name. Cool. I heard he wasn't the greatest of picks, but whatever.
It's really hard to pay attention after the first day.
He's got the widest wingspan of corners in the draft or whatever.
Hopefully that'll come in handy.
Yeah, I guess so. We picked a lot of projects, but a lot of guys that have the measurables and the opportunity to become great.
Yeah.
And I think probably, other than Anthony Richardson, my favorite pick of the draft was Josh Downs, our wide receiver out of the third round. Looks like T.Y. Hilton reincarnate. It's crazy. He looks really, really good. Great route running. Shorter guy, fast, quick, can catch it. Doesn't have a whole lot of yards after catch, but hey, T.Y. Hilton didn't, Reggie Wayne didn't, and Marvin Harrison didn't, and look at them. So I think that he'll be a great fit.
All right. Well, your draft was good. My draft was good. I think
feel good.
I'm excited.
We're not going to be good next year.
I'm excited for this fall. I'm excited for NFL talk on the pod.
Yeah.
Some in-season stuff. I think we're gonna. I think we'll do one or two over the summer. We'll see what we can do. But it's been an absolute pleasure this year, Andy.
I appreciate it. It has. I think so. Oh, quick before you sign off. The NBA Finals picks, real quick.
I said it. Celtics Warriors. And
are you
the Celtics
serious?
beat the Warriors.
Are you serious? You're going to say that again?
I'm pretty.
Right now, I know I said Kings and Celtics
actually,
before,
you know what? If I could change it, I'm sticking with because that's what I picked.
Yeah.
If I could change it, it's Lakers Celtics.
I think low-key, I'm going to go.
They're postseason.
Give me Lakers Sixers. Sixers in 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't think the Sixers are coming out of the East.
They could.
I think the Celtics are on a tear, dude.
James, they just lost to the Celtics, or just beat the Celtics. I'm sorry, James Harden with that.
I don't think there's a lot of stopping the Celtics.
Beard, man. It's the beard.
Somebody made fun of LeBron. He's a little upset about it. They're running to the finals.
They could. I think the Lakers can make it though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great year.
Over 1,000 minutes of podcast time.
That's not confirmed.
It's definitely over 1,000 minutes of podcast
I'm sure.
time. It's well over, easily
somewhere.
Over. I don't think we've had. I think we've had more episodes over an hour than we've had episodes under 50 minutes.
That is accurate. Yeah.
But it looks like this one. But it looks like this episode is gonna. We're gonna keep it a little bit short for you guys. Thank you all for hanging with us this year. It's been an absolute pleasure to be one of your favorite knuckleheads.
Yeah. We could be back over the summer.
We might do an episode or two.
We said we might last summer. We did.
We did a couple.
So, we'll kind of
ones.
see. We'll see if there's something that comes up. If we nab a guy, I don't really know. Or maybe we could just take a break. We're gonna be both busy. What are you doing over the summer? What are you doing over the summer?
This summer, much to my mom's dismay, I don't know what I'm doing for the first little bit of the summer. But I'm going back to the camp that I worked at last summer. Teaching journalism.
There you go.
That's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah.
What are you doing this summer? I'm
working at a news station in Fort Wayne as an intern. Yeah, thank you. Should be fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Which station? Shout them out.
WPTA 21 Alive in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And you can see us on 21 and 21.2. Yes, 21.1 and 21.2. Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us. As always, thank you all for another amazing season of the Underqualified.
Been great.
Knuckleheads Sports Podcast, Ball State's premier sports podcast.
Yes. Premier. Self-proclaimed. I don't care what it is. Yeah.
Well, once we get Jeffrey Myers on here, he'll.
Are we going? That's
a goal.
I
think he'd love to be on our podcast.
Sure.
Talk about sports.
Yeah, I'll ask him at Cardinal Compass.
You know he runs what's Cardinal Compass?
It's the class I'm teaching.
Oh yeah. Midday.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do it with Jeffrey Myers?
Yeah, that's part of the class.
Ooh, very fun. Well, you can let him know.
I will.
We want you on our podcast.
I will do.
He runs every single morning. He's a big runner.
Oh, we'll talk to him about that.
Yeah.
All right.
We've been trying to end this, and we'll see you in season 4. As always, Underqualified.
No. Let's start. All right, 3. 3. I want to say it good, and you went too quick. 3, 2, 1. Underqualified Knuckleheads Country. Let's ride.